I've called this little presentation After Boot Camp, What Comes Next? Because if you've given your time and your energy, and we've given our time and our energy to these 5 days this week, and nothing changes, then it's been a waste of time, hasn't it? So let's make a plan. What are you going to do after boot camp? I want you to build on the wins. You've made some great wins. Who is it? I think it's Melanie. She was struggling to get just one day, and then she got one day, and then she got another day, and I'm pretty sure she's got day 3 today. So that is a big win. I bet you haven't had that number of alcohol-free days in a while, Melanie. So what you're going to do now is build on those. You're not going to let it just disintegrate and go back to square one. So now you need to get some more alcohol-free time under your belt. And stay curious. I hope that at least this week has piqued your curiosity and made you realize that there's actually a lot to this subject. I've been doing this for 10 years now, and my husband said to me a while ago, "Don't you get bored talking about this all the time?" And I said, "Not really, because there's so much to learn. There's biology, there's psychology, there's neuroscience, all those podcast interviews I've done, like 250 of them. I've always learned something from the person that I'm interviewing. So it's a pretty fascinating subject. So I really hope that you are curious and ready to learn more with us, hopefully. And I hope you've at least tasted the power of community by us being in this group together for 5 days. Because I want to throw down the challenge to you that you should be getting ready for a year of transformation. A little bit about me. This presentation isn't about me, it's about you. But just a few facts so that where I'm coming from, as it were. I went from social drinking to self-medication to dependency. Spent those 10 years in my 50s that I often mention, trying and failing to moderate. You're not the only ones that get stuck in the moderation trap like you. I could not imagine my life without alcohol. What would that even look like? I drank for 40 years, and now I'm 10 years sober in May. May the 23rd. That's my soberversary date, and it's far more precious to me than any birthday date is, because I've worked hard for that soberversary. And my professional background is in HR and coaching, training and development. So what I've managed to do is transfer the skills that I got in my long corporate career and transfer them into something that I see as a lot more worthwhile than my corporate job. Yeah, I had 3 wake-up calls. First 2 I completely ignored. First one at 25, I passed out, a drunken blackout in my bath, and had to be resuscitated by the emergency services. 55 years old, I had breast cancer, which was no doubt linked to my decades of heavy drinking. I carried on drinking. I didn't even know there was any link at that time. This was back in 2006 that I got breast cancer. And finally, at the grand old age of 63, I got it right, because I was away for a weekend with friends. I had a terrible blackout, a walking, talking blackout, where I lost about 6 hours of the previous day. I could not remember a thing. And my friends told me that I was walking okay, I was talking okay, I didn't even seem drunk. And that really frightened me, because I knew I was messing with my body by then, because I knew there was a link with breast cancer by that time. But then it occurred to me that I was messing with my brain as well. And those of you that have had the courage to listen to Andrew Huberman's 2-hour podcast on alcohol and your health will understand exactly what alcohol does to our brain. And these blackouts, I had lots of blackouts in my drinking career. What happens is, it's not that you've forgotten stuff, but your brain is so soaked in alcohol that it can't even store memories in the first place. And I found that very frightening. So at 63, I decided I couldn't go on like this. I was drinking myself to death, very obviously, and it had to stop. So it did. How did it stop, you might be asking yourself? I trotted off to AA, and that didn't suit me at all. I just rebelled against the rigidity of it. I found it negative. I refused to label myself an alcoholic. I found that very demeaning and depressing. So I went on a mission really to educate myself, which I did. I found some tools, but most importantly, I found my people. Coincidentally, I found a one-day workshop in London, and I was at home on a trip. So I trotted along to that, and it was great because there were people there like me, people with good jobs, nice families that were downing a bottle of wine a night and knew that it wasn't sustainable. So I found my people on this one day. We shared and we became quite close, and we all were on a WhatsApp group and we talked to each other daily. And because of them, I managed to stay sober for months. And then I came back to South Africa, and I decided that I was going to use my coaching and my training skills and apply them to this subject, and set up a sobriety community, which was 𝐿𝐴, which was born in November 2015 when I ran my very first workshop in Cape Town. And I've been building a tribe since then, workshops. I did lots of media to start with. The South African media were particularly intrigued by this mad foreign woman that was telling people not to drink. Did plenty of media, which was great because people got to know about us. I met Sue in 2018, and together we set up this membership. On my 5th sober anniversary, which was 2020, I started podcasting. So that's how I've built the tribe, really. So the one thing that literally changed my entire life was when I found my people. And what you need to decide, and what I hope you've been deciding during the week, is, are we your people? I love this quote by C.S. Lewis. It says, "Friendship is born in the moment when one person looks at another and says, 'You too? I thought I was the only one.'" And that's why sobriety communities are so wonderful, because you meet other people like you. But you need a new tribe, as I say often on the podcast, because your family tribe might just tell you, like mine did, "Oh, just cut down a bit," but they don't understand that's impossible once you're dependent. Or your drinking buddies will just laugh at you and say, "Don't be so boring. You don't drink too much. You drink just like me." So you have to find people on the same path, people that understand you. People that will never say to you, "Oh, come on, you can just have one glass. You haven't had any for a few weeks." I found my people, and that made all the difference in the world. Are we your people? Met 3 of us this week, and Monica is the one that's been doing all the work behind the scenes for this boot camp. She's been posting all your tasks and putting up all the articles and the podcasts, etc. And Sue created the membership with me, and she's been running Tribe Sober, and particularly the membership with me since 2018. She actually went to AA. She got sober through AA. And so she really understands their approach and our approach. And I think the fact that she works with us proves that I know she thinks that our approach is more suitable for many people. So we've got about 400 members, and the beauty of our community is, because it's been going so long now, for 10 years, we've got people at all stages of the journey. And when we set up the membership, I think we expected that people would join us, get sober, and then they would go off into the sunset and live happily ever after. But many people have joined us, got sober, and then they've decided to stick around, and they carry on paying their membership subs, and they help other people that are coming in. They encourage them, they share tips with them. So we've got this wonderful culture of people paying it forward, because when you get sober, you become quite passionate about the benefits of sobriety, and you have to watch yourself a bit, or you can bore all your friends and family to death by talking about it. But in a forum like this, we feel that we can release our passion and tell you just how wonderful sobriety is. So we are mostly female and mostly a bit older. I'm 73, so I'll probably set the tone for older ladies. think someone wrote to me today and she said she found our membership because she was in America and she Googled older women struggling with alcohol and 𝐿𝐴 came up. We are mostly a bit older, although we've got a few members and we've certainly got, I think we've got about 40 guys, but mostly women, mostly a bit older, and we're really international. We're from UK, US, and South Africa. And that's the beauty of it. And we've started to meet each other physically now in different parts of the world, which is very exciting. And Lucy, she mentioned it, didn't she, in her talk? She was in Paris last weekend with an American member, a couple of British members. And as she said in her talk, they never would have met if it wasn't for Tribe Sober. And if they were still drinking, they wouldn't have had the money all the time to go off to Paris for the weekend. So your life opens up in ways that you can never imagine if you're at the very beginning of this journey. So let's think about why people get stuck in their drinking in the first place. Because they think it's about willpower. They get stuck in the moderation trap. They try to do it alone. And they've got no idea how to quit. You need to understand the mindset piece, and you need some tools, and you need some community. That is how you quit. And a lot of people think, I'll just stop drinking and then I'll be fine. And then to their amazement, they can't and they're not fine. So people have no idea how. So that's why they get stuck. There's so much shame around drinking, especially for us ladies. So I didn't want to tell anybody about my little problem. I'd tell myself, you got yourself into this fix now, get yourself out of it, because I am quite a strong person. I usually achieve what I want to achieve. So I thought, surely I can do this. I've just got to stop drinking. And I was horrified when I couldn't do it. But I just want to take you through 3 steps to end the struggle. So the first step, you know well by now, it's all about overturning those limiting beliefs. Let's just look at those for a moment. You need to change your mindset because our brains have been hijacked by big alcohol and peer pressure. All those movies that we've seen with people drinking their heads off, all those beautiful, glamorous pictures in magazines, etc. So the consequence of all that is the normalization of alcohol, as we call it. It's perceived as normal to drink. And that is why if you take a break from drinking or you try to quit, you're suddenly the center of attention. And it's, what do you mean you're not drinking? Or you might manage to do it for a few months and people say, oh, you're not still doing that non-drinking thing, are you? So that's just how normalized this stuff has become. And big alcohol must be delighted, and they're laughing all the way to the bank. So how do you change your mindset? Well, get the facts. I hope that we've whetted your appetite a little bit for those facts, because they are pretty exciting and riveting and interesting. So start doing your research. Treat this whole thing like a research project. I sometimes think maybe I should get a PhD in all this stuff that I've learned, because you can really dive deep into it and do some research. Read all the books. There's some brilliant quick list books out there. Listen to all the podcasts and then do the work. You have to uncouple alcohol from activities that you've always done while you're drinking. We had Lucy, didn't we, on the group that downs a bottle of white wine while she's doing the cooking every night. So she's got to uncouple those activities now. So she can either drink an alcohol-free drink, or she can completely reconfigure everything and try Claire Pooley's tip, which a couple of us recommended. That is getting up really early in the morning, do the cooking, because most people, they don't want to have a drink at 5 a.m. in the morning. So you do the cooking, shove it in the fridge, forget about it, and then at 7 o'clock or whatever, then the food is almost ready and there's very little prep time to do. And Lucy said when she starts eating, she doesn't want to drink anymore. So you have to be creative, but you have to come up with lots of tricks and hacks. But it's fun in a way to find ways around this thing. And yeah, uncoupling is a big one because it's all about association, Alice, again, isn't it? She's the one that makes you think if you're going to watch a beautiful sunset, you need a glass of wine, as if the sun isn't going to set if you don't have your wine. We're mad. So start seeing through the marketing bullshit, because then it loses its power. Just laugh at it. Look at this one. Champagne is such a glamorous image, hasn't it? But what is champagne? It's 10% ethanol, which is really harmful, and it's 90% marketing. I think that's the perfect description. Here's Lucy's reframe. You're going to reframe the whole issue. You don't have a drinking problem. You've got an opportunity for personal growth. I can't remember who it was, but one of our boot campers said that she can feel that personal growth beginning, and she is beginning to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Please write that phrase down. Remember it. It's Lynette's phrase, and it's helped so many people. We don't have to suddenly numb our emotions away. We're not here to be happy 24/7. We're here to feel all the feels, really. So if you're sad, then that'll pass. And if you're stressed, that will also pass. Feelings always pass. Of course they do. So we have to get out of this habit of numbing away our feelings, being frightened of our feelings. I think Lynette told you her story that when she went to her therapist about her drinking problem, her therapist said, "You don't have a drinking problem, you've got a feeling problem." I thought that was fascinating. We're afraid of feeling our emotions. So you've got an opportunity for personal growth. Sobriety is a springboard for personal growth, in my opinion, and you're going to gain so much more than you lose. So reframe your thinking. I said this morning, didn't I? You're going to lose all these negative things that you don't want, and you're going to gain some beautiful things. You're going to gain a beautiful new life. Step 2 is about emotions. Now, emotions, of course, drive our behavior, and that's what we've often been afraid of in the past, our emotions. So you need to rewire your brain, because alcohol has rewired your brain in a negative way. And now you need to move into healing and recalibrating your brain. So if you recognize that this is an opportunity, if you're curious and get excited, and if you're vulnerable, and that's what's beautiful about Tribe Sober, actually, we're all so honest and vulnerable with each other. We often sit there sniveling in our Zoom cafes if someone shared something sad with us. We encourage each other to be vulnerable, because there is healing in that. And you've probably heard Brené Brown talk about the power of vulnerability. So please share your feelings, and all of these emotions are going to help with the healing process. And this is quite exciting, because if you can do this thing, i.e. give up drinking, that's a really hard thing. And if you can achieve that, then your brain has got trained, if you like, to do more hard things. And that's why we say sobriety is a superpower. And when we really have nailed sobriety and we're feeling great, we feel like we've got this superpower. And we go into this kind of attitude of, what else can I do? Bring it on, bring on these challenges. I need another challenge now. And there's a wonderful book called Dopamine Nation by Dr. Anna Lemke, who I did a podcast with. And she talks about how good it is for our brain to do hard things, certainly to give up drinking, and also to do things like habits that are quite hard. She talks about, I'm rubbish at this, but she talks about cold water swimming. And she said it's so good to train ourselves to do really hard things. So that's just some good news. You do this and it's just the beginning, and you'll go on and do amazing things. Another of Lynette's expressions that I love, discomfort is the currency of growth. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And remember, you're on your way to a beautiful destination if you do this. The offer today is an annual membership at a 20% discount, and we're making it an annual membership because we believe that it really takes about a year to nail this thing. It's not an easy year. It's ups and it's downs. Probably at the moment, I hope you're feeling like this little guy clicking his heels here, thinking, yeah, I can do this at last. I've had 2 alcohol-free days this week. I'm sorted. But it's not going to carry on like this. You'll start questioning it. You'll start worrying about it, and you'll get afraid that you're going to fail. And then the guilt might come in of what's been happening in the past. And you might feel a bit down, and all these things. We're up and we're down because we've been numbing our emotions away for decades, most of us. And they're all going to come out. And it's going to be a roller coaster, guys. And that's why you need a community, and we'd love to help you to weather this roller coaster and come out the other side feeling brilliant. And we say a year because in our decade of experience, we've seen so many members nail the kind of habit side of it, change their habits in the first few months. And then you move on to the more exciting bit of it, actually, because then you're reconfiguring your life. By that time, you're so much more in touch with yourself. You've reconnected with who you are, what you want to do, and then you can start reconfiguring your life. We've seen people make huge changes. We've seen people, leave the relationship they're in because they've had the courage to face it's not the right one for them. We've seen people changing jobs. We've seen people moving country. Monica's a fantastic example of that. Once she'd been sober for a few months, she decided she wanted to move to the UK with her very small child on her own, and she did it. And she never would have had the energy or the courage to do that if she was still drinking. Think of it as a year of transformation. Don't be impatient. As I said to you earlier, you can't drink for 40 years and expect to nail this in 1 week at a boot camp. We want to kickstart your journey in that week. That's all we can hope for. So let's move on to the third step, which is all about finding your people. And this is why you need people. You need a safe and judgment-free space. And you need positive role models. And as I said before, we've got people at all levels, at all stages of the journey, because a brand new person that gave up a few days ago probably won't relate very well to me with my almost 10 years. But there's people, she'll be on a group with other people that have got less than a month of sobriety. And there'll be a couple of cheerleaders in there who have got maybe 3 or 4 months of sobriety. So they can advise that new person and say, oh yeah, when that happened to me, this is how I managed it. So there's lots of encouragement and support and accountability. Because if you do this thing on your own, I remember when I was doing it alone, I'd be all right using willpower, of course, because I didn't know anything else. And after a couple of weeks of gritting my teeth, something rubbish would happen. And I think, oh God, I need a drink. And I would have a drink because nobody really cared whether I had a drink or not, because I hadn't even shared that I was on this journey. So you've got to have other people that know what you're doing. You need accountability. And you need a new tribe. Community connects. It's the opposite of addiction. Fantastic TED talk by a guy called 𝐬𝐿, who takes you through a scientific experiment which actually proves that. Brené Brown, community allows us to experience the power of vulnerability, and it connects people on the same path, people who understand each other. Community can change your life. Let's see if Bontle is going to talk to us. Yeah.
That are really rooting for you.
Sorry. Let's take her back to the beginning.
As I tried by myself to stop drinking, and it's not easy when you don't have the right support and if you don't have people that are really rooting for you. I'm now enjoying the fruits of sobriety, all thanks to Tribe Sober and the amazing community I found.
Thank you, 𝐵𝐺. And let's move to the next one where we've got, I don't know why these decided to move all by themselves, but here we have Susanna.
Been wanting to quit drinking for, like me, many years, 2 decades, in fact. And you have no sobriety or periods of sobriety, and you want that permanent change of perspective, belief. This might be the place for you. It sure was for me.
So that's just 2 of our many members. Community can be fun as well. It's not all serious and doom and gloom at Tribe Sober, far from it. We've even got our own cartoonist who comes out with these lovely drawings. She's the one that drew our 3 villains, Wine Witch and Association Alice and Moderation Mary. So she's got, she obviously had an issue herself. Otherwise, I don't think she'd have these insights to do these drawings. But she's got someone waking up here at 4 a.m. feeling rubbish and then going onto the laptop, am I an alcoholic? And she manages to click on all the questions that tell her that she should probably cut down. So that's okay. She doesn't have to give up. And then she goes happily back to sleep, as does the cat. We know exactly what she means by that, don't we? And this is a quote from Sarah. I put it there because Sarah's very much a cautious introvert, and she wasn't sure that a community was right for her. It sounded a bit overwhelming at first, I think. So she says, to her great surprise, she was soon all over the groups, connecting and enjoying the chat, sharing information and ideas. She had no idea what she was missing before. And now, in fact, she's just turned 3 years sober. She's forever grateful, and we're forever grateful to her for fabulous drawings. Yeah, so are we your community? If you join Tribe Sober, you'll get personal attention to stay on track, because some sobriety groups have thousands of members. And I know because I've joined a couple of them just to see how they operate, frankly. And mostly I was just chucked in a massive chat forum, which admittedly was busy, kind of 24/7. But I didn't feel like I knew any of them, and nobody paid any attention to me. But we worked really hard with our onboarding. So when people join, Sue takes time to find out who they are, where they are in their journey, and she helps them to get started. So there's no membership overwhelm. We're going to guide you all the way, and we can help you to build a beautiful alcohol-free lifestyle. So let's look at this journey of transformation a little bit, because tribe membership is like your ticket from here. This is the moderation swamp, as I call it, and we all know that feeling. And we want to take you to the sunlit fields of sobriety. I can't see any bunnies on there, but there are some little bunnies hopping around, trust me. Or this beautiful beaches of sobriety. So the journey of transformation. I don't want to take you through all the details. I'm going to give you a quick graphic of the journey that we take on members on, but I don't want to dive into all the detail, because that's not the point. The point is the destination. And the membership is merely the journey. So your destination is a happier and healthier lifestyle. And I put this picture here to remind me of a holiday that I booked. And when I booked the holiday, which is Mozambique, if you're interested, I wasn't thinking about the journey. I wasn't thinking about how I'd have to get up really early and fly to Joburg and hang around there for hours and then go on to Mozambique mainland and then get myself to an island. It was a tortuous journey, but I didn't dwell on that at all, because I wanted the destination. So I had this destination in my head all the time. And your destination, of course, is a happier and healthier lifestyle. You're going to look better, you're going to feel better, you'll have better relationships, you'll have more energy, and you'll have more motivation to find more meaning and purpose in your life. And as I said earlier, it's a springboard for self-development. It's such an adventure. Carry on drinking and it's going to be the same old. It's like Groundhog Day. ditch the booze, get through the tough bit, and you've got a beautiful adventure waiting for you. You don't know what's going to happen. So let's look at the root for a moment. So we talk about our three pillars: community, accountability, and knowledge. And then here is what we call our success path, because we want our members to have a perspective. We want them to know where they are on the path. So we talk about the onboarding stage, and then preparation stage, and then that's it there. They're implementing, clocking up the sober time, using the toolkits, progressing through our accountability groups. And then it's about maintenance and milestones, and of course, healing and the lifestyle change that comes with this. When you join Tribe Sober, we look at your onboarding as your first 100 days. So you'll get a welcome video. You'll get our podcast playlist. That's 100 podcasts, and we want you to listen to one of those podcasts every day. Whatever else is going on in your life, even if you're still drinking, listen to one of those every day, and gradually your mindset will begin to change. Sue's been through all our 250 podcast episodes, and she's curated them so that you get the right podcast to listen to at the right stage of your journey. And we did this because a guy wrote to me thanking me because he managed to get sober just through listening to 100 podcasts, one a day. And we thought, oh, that's a nice thing to offer our members, but let's curate them and make sure it's the right podcast for the right stage. And along with that playlist, we give you a 100-day tracker so that you can mark off each of those 100 days. You'll obviously be connected on the community chats with the cheerleaders. You'll be encouraged to go to at least a couple of our Zoom meetings a week. And Sue is there to give you personal help with onboarding if you need it, if you need the tech stuff, a bit of guidance on that. So we had this nice kind of dream about having a bunch of boot campers traveling through their 100 days together, because our last boot camp, which was in January, it was very similar, but on the last day, rather than pitching membership, I pitched our Breaking Free program, which is a 3-month program. It's quite intensive. We got 25 people signing up for that program, and they all traveled through it together, and they felt like they already knew each other because they'd been on boot camp together. So we're thinking how cool it would be if we have a number of people joining Tribe Sober from this boot camp, and then they can continue the journey together. Sue is an accountant, and she looks at, we've got a lot of data thanks to her. Before Sue came along, I don't think I had any data at all, but she has beautiful spreadsheets and lots of numbers, and she's always diving into the data and coming up with conclusions. And she has worked out that 60% of our new members complete a whole year of alcohol-free. And then 60% of our longer-term members have more than 1 year alcohol-free and are busy helping the others. So that is a pretty awesome success rate. If you look at success rates from rehabs, from AA, which are pretty much kept under wraps, but you will find that they're maybe 8-9%. They're not high. So we're very proud of the number of people that we helped. So where are you now? You've got 2 choices, haven't you? You can do nothing. Of course you can. Stay in that struggle place, maybe 11 more years. Your life is going to stay the same. The alcohol dependence will get worse because that's what it does. Or you can enter our safe space of transformation and begin a life-changing journey and become the person that you were meant to be. You can get your sober wings like this lady here. And whichever choice you make, it's going to be hard. If you choose to join Tribe Sober, there'll be a period of adjustment. It's going to be hard for a few months. But if you're curious, if you listen and you learn, then we'll get you through. will be so much harder if you keep drinking, becoming more dependent, more isolated, more anxious, and putting your health at risk. So please make the right choice, guys. Wouldn't it be worth it just to be alcohol-free without feeling deprived? To break free from the guilt, the blame, and the shame, to end the struggle and begin to love yourself again, because that's what happens. We pretty much hate ourselves when we're in this drinking fix. But as you clock up those alcohol-free days, you start to feel a genuine sense of pride, and you begin to realize what an awesome and strong person you are to get through this. You'll wake up full of energy and joy. So tribe membership is for you if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you feel like you just can't do this anymore, if you know you're done with alcohol, but you've got no idea how to make a change, or if you've tried and failed to quit many times. So what is the offer? We're offering you 20% discount on annual membership plus a bonus. And the bonus is our free masterclass. That is a number of video recordings and a workbook. I think time-wise, it's about 3 hours in total. Of course, you cut that into manageable chunks. You work through it on your own, and it will absolutely give you a flying start. It's all about the mindset piece, the limiting beliefs, and it gives you a toolkit to start working with. So experience the power of this support as you make this year your year of transformation. So your other decision, now that you've decided to join us, she says, hopefully, will I go annual or monthly? Our offer is obviously to encourage you to sign up as an annual member, because that's making a real commitment, isn't it? Because it will get tough. And if you're a monthly member, the first month you'll be on a high and you'll love meeting everybody, but maybe by month 3, you're struggling a bit and you might think, oh, I can't do this, I'm going to leave. But if you are an annual member, you're going to stick through those difficult times, and we'll keep you going through the difficult times. The annual is actually much cheaper because you're going to pay for 10 months anyway. That's how we've worked out our annual membership. And then you get this 20% discount plus the masterclass, which is worth, you can look at how much it's worth on the website. So if we do the math, annual membership, I've just done it in dollars to be quick. Annual membership with the 20% discount works out at $240 plus the masterclass. But if you join as a monthly member, then you'll be paying per year $360. So it's quite a big difference. I did a bit of maths with Cordelia and 𝐬𝐿𝐻. I just saw their post before I hopped up on here. So I made this rather chaotic slide. I hope you can understand it. So what I'm saying is both of those ladies, and by the way, thank you to both of you for sharing the figures with us, and thank you for sharing that you're excited as well. I'm excited that you're excited. So most of you can recoup your annual membership in the very first month of being a member, looking at what you've been spending on alcohol, and then you can start saving. They could both recoup their annual membership in 1 month, and then they can start saving that money. We've had some great examples of people that have saved money. Helen Coleman, who I think you will feel like you know a bit by now, £300 a month, and she's been spending that money on travel, and she's been charging all over Europe, and she's coming down to South Africa soon, spending that money on connecting with people from the tribe. So once you've recouped your fee, then you can start saving the money. So Cordelia's dream is to go to Antarctica, which is wonderful. And then 𝐬𝐿𝐻 mentioned that she'd like to go on a retreat. So I just thought I would plant a little seed of the fact that we're off to Bali on a sobriety retreat in October. So maybe 𝐬𝐿𝐻 would like to look at that and start saving up. But if I think of Judy, who has a cruise jar, as she calls it. She loves going on cruises. They used to be boozy cruises, but now she goes on alcohol-free cruises. And she has a jar, which she calls her cruise jar. She's a Brit. She lives in the UK. Every day she sticks £10 in that jar because that's what she used to spend on alcohol. And when it's full, she books a cruise. How cool is that? So there's so many more worthwhile things to spend your money on than poisoning yourself, because that's all we do when we drink. So yeah, back to this bonus that we give you with your annual membership. It's going to change your thinking about drinking, give you a sobriety toolkit, a flying start to your year of transformation. Make 2025 your year of transformation. I love this drawing by Sarah again. This is people when they join us very much in survival mode. And then even after a month, you'll be feeling better. You'll have a bit of drive. You'll think more clearly. 6 months, and then you're really seeing those bunny feels and getting into it. And then from then onwards, it's all about thriving. So please let us be your community. Get personal attention to stay on track. Let us help you quit drinking and start living and build a beautiful alcohol-free lifestyle. I thought I should remind you what we're not. We're not just a mass of content which will overwhelm you. Because I've joined memberships and they've sent me all these courses and articles and books to read. And I just thought, I haven't got time for all this. And I left. So we're very conscious of that. So we curate our content and we feed it out to you at appropriate times. Because we focus very much on transformation, not just information. Because you can get all the information from the internet. What you need from a membership is transformation. You need your problem, which is that you drink too much. You need that problem solved. And that's what we're here for. We're not here to chuck content at you. And the forums, again, we've got an accountability group. We've got a 6-month plus group. We've got a 1-year plus group. We've got people divided into different countries, so the time zones work. None of the groups are huge, so you'll never feel lost in our chat groups. And yeah, we've realized after seeing so many members change their lives that Tribe Sober is a place of transformation, and we would love you to come inside. Yeah, let's have a last word from 𝐬𝐿.
I'm 55 years old, and I decided to quit drinking just over 6 months ago. It was whilst listening to a podcast one day, I came across this lady who struck a chord called Janet Gorond. She had set up a group called Tribe Sober. It was a global community with people on there who had been sober for many years, some for many minutes, and everything in between. And so I immediately went onto her web for it and signed up, and have not regretted it. Every single day I tap into the WhatsApp messages. It's such a nice feeling. And by literally 6 months later, I feel like I know these women. We have a Zoom cafe on Saturday where we all check in. So I couldn't recommend Tribe Sober more to fill in that huge gap, which is community, support, help, love, tips, you name it. So get on, go and do it. Don't even hesitate for one moment, and good luck to you in your sober journey.
You see what beautiful members we have? So this week in boot camp, you've got to know us a bit, haven't you? And you understand where we're coming from. You understand our approach. And I just wanted you to reflect on what you've achieved with our support in just 1 week of boot camp. And imagine what you could achieve in a whole year as a Tribe Sober member. So make 2025 the year that you invest in yourself. We've got this special offer, 20% discount on annual membership. So go to the 𝐿𝐵𝐷𝐶om website, go to the membership page, go to annual membership and use the coupon code BOOTCAMP. That'll take you into annual membership. And this offer is only open for 5 days until the 20th of March. And that's not because we're doing a hard sell, but we just want you to make up your mind, because if you're like most of us, you've been procrastinating over this thing for far too long, maybe for as long as 11 years. So let's get on with it. Let's change everything up this time. You're going to invest in yourself, in your future, in your health and your happiness, instead of pouring money down the drain and poisoning yourself.